All right, Dane, let's talk about, we've gone from having a little laugh there about the car, but we are going to talk about the incident. I don't like talking about this. It still makes me feel awful. Away at Port Vale, that challenge from Gareth Ainsworth. What are your memories of that?
One of the toughest things that's ever happened in my life. I have to admit it, you know what I mean? It's that challenge, even though you're not known at the time, but that challenge ended up finishing my career. A career that we're probably going somewhere in respect of our playing really well. Like we said earlier, there were teams looking to purchase me and what have you. And all I can remember is it's an away game. You're playing football, and 1 minute I see ball coming across front of me, and next minute I'm on floor rather than agony. I didn't see him coming out. I know Mitch passed me the ball, but it just went a little bit too far, and I had to turn I had to do a double movement. I had to turn and chase after the ball because it had just run too far. But I'd not seen him coming. I could not see him in my eyes. You know what I mean? Sometimes you see a player coming into you. Do you know what I mean? And then you can anticipate what might happen in them next few seconds. I honestly did not see him coming because he hit me front side. And like I say, I knew I'd done it. I knew I'd done my knee. It went snap, bang, pop, crack, you name it. I heard absolutely everything. And when physio came running onto the pitch, I think it was Dennis Pettit. He said, "What you done?" I went, "Knee's gone." I knew straight away. I said, "My knee's gone." He went, "Are you sure?" I said, "Trust me." I said, I don't even want to look down. I don't even want to look down because I was in that much pain. Do you know what I mean? But I could have. Do you know what? I could have cried, but I could have laughed at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Because I was in that much pain, and I just tried putting a brave face on it. Do you know what I mean? Because I was in the middle of a football pitch in front of 15,000 fans, and I just needed to get off pitch because I couldn't. He said to me, "Can you stand up?" I went, "Nah." I said, "I can't even bend my knee." I said, "I can't even feel my leg." And then he took me into changing rooms. That happened in first half. My knee started to swell up straight away. Their physio came in, had a look at me. I ended up getting strapped up, and then we'd finished game, travelled back to Sheffield, and then we dealt with our surgeons then and our physios at Sheffield United, and I was in hospital on Sunday. That happened on Saturday, and we were at Thornbury on Sunday morning, and I had operation on Wednesday.
So you had to go home and sleep?
I went home slept with my knee strapped up.
Wow.
And then I rung up complaining that my leg were killing because they didn't know how bad it were.
Well,
they honestly didn't know how bad it were.
So, Dane, realistically, if they'd known, you would have gone straight to hospital, right?
Yeah.
Were you taking painkillers? Were you taking painkillers as well that night? I hope you were.
Do you know what, Nick? I don't think you're allowed to.
Right.
I'm not sure, mate. I can't. It used to be just the old school bucket of ice and hot and cold. So
sponge.
basically, you put heat on it for 20 minutes, and then you put ice on it for 10 minutes, then you put heat on it for 20 minutes. I'm sure I went home, and then I went straight to hospital next day.
Wow.
And then I had an X, because we had no X-ray machines or anything like that at games now. They've got all that stuff now. And I know that they've got a portable X-ray machine at Sheffield United. So no matter what, they couldn't diagnose what I'd done because we didn't have facilities then. You know what I mean? So I was still sat in changing rooms at 10 to 6 at Port Vale. And then I got to travel back on coach for an hour and a half, going over Winnick's Pass or wherever it is, you know what I mean, through all bike bikes from Port Vale because we didn't do motorway in them days. We did bike wax.
That must
You know
have
what I
been
mean? So,
absolute agony.
Yeah. I couldn't move. And then I went.
Was Mitch with you? Because I remember at the time Mitch was like holding your hand and you were on the stretcher, and I know he looked as devastated as us fans. Was he talking to you in the coach, or were any of the lads trying to keep you calm?
Yeah, we used to have a big bed at back of coach, so that bed were either if anyone wanted to have a cat nap, if we were travelling to London at a weekend or whatever, or it was for injuries. So because I got injured, I were on that bed, so everyone kept coming up to me. Do you know what I mean? But Mitch always said that when you see a player go down, you know that something's wrong. It's strange because you see players go down now and they get up after 5 minutes.
It's different.
So you set yourself, and I'm not disrespecting them as players in this era or us as players in our era. Do you know what I mean? But we hardly went down.
It is different. It is definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's different now.
You got a knock, you'd rub it off, and then you'd just carry on. But because I was so close to Mitch and all my team players, I think Mitch was one at first to come up to me.
He was,
and he grabbed my arm, and he knew there was something wrong because the way I were. Do you know what I mean? If I just got a knock, I'd be like, I'm all right, Mitch. I'm sound like. Do you know what I mean? But he knew there was something more serious. He could tell, and you have that sense, don't you, with your mates and that. Do you know what I mean? You could tell. And he said to the physio, now he says, Dane don't stop down. He don't stop down. Like a lot of other players, you know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't just me. I'm not just saying that because it were me, but a lot of players that I played with, we hardly ever stopped down on pitch unless there was something serious, you know what I mean? I've played with players I broke my leg against Bristol City, right? I didn't even know I broke it. I just thought he kicked me on shin. And French carried me off pitch. He piggybacked me off pitch, French. And he said, he came onto the pitch and he said to me, he said, what you done? I said, my shin feels funny. He went, what do you mean? He said, can you put it to the floor? So I went, well, I'll try. So I stood up and I collapsed on the floor because I couldn't put my foot to the floor because my shin had gone. And he went, well, what you done? I went, well, he's kicked me on the shin, but I feel funny. He went, what do you mean? I went, I feel dizzy, I feel sick. And he went, right.
Yeah, that's when you know.
We just got this portable X-ray machine at United at that time. So this were I think this were 91, 92. So I had an X-ray straight away in physio's room. And he went, you're not going to believe it. I went, what? He says, there's broke your shin. I went, you're joking, aren't I? And now he says, that's cracked your shin. He said, they're going to have to go to hospital. I went, all right. So he put this inflatable bubble round it. So my leg was like in this inflatable. And I ended up going to hospital, and I was in hospital for 3 days, and I had operation after the 4th day, and then I stayed in hospital for 4 days, and they pinned it. Do you know what I mean? So going back to that day when I got injured with at Port Vale, I was still sat in changing rooms until 6:10 until coach left, and then I travelled home, and then I went to hospital the day after. Spoke to surgeon seen me X-rays, and he says, you've done it proper this. And I went, all right. I says, can I just ask you a question? He went, yeah. And this were one of the top surgeons at UK, by the way, at Thornbury, a bloke called Mr. Bickerstaff. He used to do all sports players, and his field was knee injuries and sports injuries. And I said to him, I said, have I got a chance? He went, well, it's going to be tough. He said, but if you have dedicated, I said, don't you worry about dedication. I said, if you want me in that gym 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I'll be in there. And I had long rehab and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But it weren't meant to be. I just couldn't get it back to a physical level to play football again.
I don't like hearing any of this.
No, it's awful to hear.
I really thought you were going to come back. I never crossed my mind that day at Port Vale. I said to my dad, "This is serious," but I never thought that was it. We'd never see you. I went to your testimonial, but I never thought we'd not see you playing again. It's getting me upset now. Just think.
I know. Do you know what? I had to make a decision. When I retired, I was 29, and I had to make a decision on what I've seen it pass with players that retired through injury and certain players that I've come across at Sheffield United who are in their later years who can't go in park to play football with the kids or can't walk properly. Do you know what I mean? So I had to make a decision on where I wanted to be in 15 years' time. And where I wanted to be in 15 years' time, mate, where I didn't want to be a cripple. So what I did, I got myself to a physical fitness that I could do everyday stuff. Like if my kids wanted to go and have a game of football or if my mates wanted to go and have a game of golf. The only thing that I can't do, Al, is I can't physically play football because I can't twist and turn. That's the only thing that I can't do. Everything else, I mean, I can run up and down stairs. I can go for a jog. I cycle 3 times a week when I can. I still go to the gym, do you know what I mean? But the only thing that I can't do is put myself in a position playing football.
And that's even football with your mates and stuff like that.
That's even football with mates now, yeah. Because I can't twist and turn, Nick. I cannot twist and turn at pace.
Well, there goes our next question about getting Dane to play in our charity game, Nick.
Just going back to that Port Vale day, obviously, we don't want to talk about it too much, so this will be the last thing. I think a lot of fans want to know, because I don't know if this was kind of just something that was a bit of a rumour, but was it true about your dad confronting him on the coach?
Yes. What had happened, mate, is my dad used to come to every game, and I couldn't drive that day, so my dad was in my car, and he took me to the match, and then we used to go in players' lounge after. So we used to see players. My dad used to see players. My dad used to see players' families, and used to have a couple of beers and what have you. But for some reason, because I were on crutches, I said to my mum were there as well, and my uncle. Used to be my mum, my dad, and my uncle that used to come to games. So my mum and my uncle said, "Well, we're going to go back to the car." So I went, "Yeah, I'm coming as well." I said, "Dad, hurry up." He was just having a glass of Coke.
Was this a home game? Was this a Bramall Lane?
This was at Bramall Lane, yeah.
This is against Port Vale the next time.
November, yeah. The next time we played them in return game, which were, I think it was around about March time.
That's right. That seems about right.
Well, I were on crutches then, because I were on crutches for 19 months. So I were on crutches then, but I couldn't drive because my leg were locked out at 180 degrees, so I had no knee bend. And I'd not got an automatic car, I got a manual car.
Should have spoke to Trevor Francis.
Yeah. I know. So my dad used to drive. So after the game finished, me, my mum and my uncle went back to the car, and we're both looking at watches thinking, well, where's my dad? I'll go and look for him. This is my uncle. So behind stand at main stand, which at South, it's called, I can't remember its name of stand, but I used to call it South Stand, didn't we? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm parked in car park, and their coaches waiting underneath that veranda type thing outside his entrance. I've seen this commotion, so I thought, oh my God, what's happening here? And then I've seen my uncle pulling my dad away. So I thought note of it. Gets him in car, he drives us home. So I went, what happened? He went, well, I jumped on coach, didn't I? I went, what you done? He went, well, I wanted to see him, didn't I? Because he's crippled my son. So I went, what, you went on their coach? He went, yeah. He said, but worst thing about it is I think they come prepared for it because they've got 2 security. But unbeknown to them, but everyone else knew at Bramall Lane that my dad used to work on security anyway. He used to be an old school bouncer, and he used to do personal security for a lot of big name people in 70s and 80s. So he weren't wet behind ears. And what they'd done, they'd put 2 security on at front at coach. So he walks up steps, and one of the security guys went, "What are you doing?" He went, "I'll show you what I'm doing." And he ended up punching both of them, knocking them both out, running to back at coach, confronting. He didn't even have a clue who they were. These players on back at coach, confronting 4 players at back at coach, and basically pointing to every one of them, saying, "One of yours crippled my son." He didn't know it was him. He didn't know who it were. But I did get told that he weren't even on coach. He'd been ushered away. So the players that he'd confronted weren't even know anything to do with it.
And they were probably bricking themselves.
He just said his mind. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He just said his mind.
Yeah.
And then I went to training on Monday morning, and Steve Thompson was manager then, Tomo. And after training, Tomo went, "What are you doing this afternoon, Dane?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to gym." He went, "Do us a favour." He said, "Can you pop down to the ground?" He said, "I need to see you in my office." I went, "Is this about Saturday?" And he went, "Well, it is, yeah, but I just need to see you. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to say it up here in front of all lads at training ground." He said, "Can you just pop down like after dinner?" I went, "Yeah." So I come down and down to office, and there were a policeman in office, and then there were Tomo, and then there were me. I went, "What's wrong, like?" He went, he says, "When you go home today," he said, if you go to your mum and dad's, please tell your dad that he's more than welcome to come to this football club any day at week." Because he did say that. He says, "I've finished now." He said, "If you're not playing," this is my dad's exact words, "if you're not playing, then I'm not coming to the game." He said, "I've done my bit. I've said my bit. That's me done now." So then this policeman, who I'm not sure if my dad got arrested on that night, or he ended up having a word with this policeman. Well, this policeman used to live 2 doors up from me at Mosbury. So he stood in office with Tomo, and Tomo said to me, he says, "Tell your dad that he's more than welcome to come to this football club any day a week. He's only done what any dad would do regarding the kids. He's done something which was stupid at the time, but he's also done something from his heart." And policeman said exactly the same. He says, "Tell your dad that he's more than welcome to come down to this football club any day a week." And I told him that, and my dad went, he said, "Well, tell him thanks very much. I did do something stupid, but I needed to, it's been burning up inside for a number of months. Do you know what I mean? And what happened to you, and also the way he dealt with it as well." And I'm talking about Gareth Ainsworth, the way he dealt with it as well. And I know you'll probably ask me about it, Nick, as well. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, he had a lot on his mind, my dad. You know what I mean? And his frustration got better of him that night. And he did say to me, he said, "I'm sorry for showing you up." I said, "No." He said, "You're all right. You've done what you needed to do." Do you know what I mean? He said, "But that's me done now. I'm not coming to the game." But he did go on coach, and he did threaten some at Port Vale players. But to this day, I don't think it was him personally, because I don't think I'm on coach.
Did you ever get an apology from Gareth Ainsworth?
Do you know what, Nick? I've never. People make their own conclusions, don't they? Do you know what I mean? And a lot of fans, I've spoke to my closest mates about it, and I've spoke to the club about it back in day. And I've not really spoke to anybody, or I've not really come out doing an interview and said what I needed to say. But I'm going to make an exception, because I'm 51 years old. It was 20 odd years ago. People need to know. People need to know what went off, and then people can then judge certain people in a certain way, saying, "Were that right or were that wrong?" Now, for me personally, Nick, I never got an apology. I've never spoke to him personally, man to man. He's never come up to me, man to man. I've heard through other people that he did send a letter to the club apologising for what happened. Now, down at football club, you get lots of fan mail. Maybe out of 100 letters, you might get 2 that go missing. You can't expect to see every single letter. Do you know what I mean? And that might be because it gets lost in post or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I can honestly say that I never read that letter. I never received a letter from a certain person that I opened it up and I read it, and it were stating about that challenge on that day, and he apologised. What I want to say about it, Nick, is that as a man who's injured a player on a football pitch, in first half at his own football club, he had numerous chances to come and see me. Numerous chances. He could have come in at half time because it happened in first half. He could have come into change rooms at half time to see how they were. He never did. He could have come in at full time. We didn't leave until we used to have a curfew after every game away from home, where, say for instance, you're playing away from home, and say for instance, if I were from Port Vale and I'm playing for Sheffield United and all my family at Port Vale, get a chance to meet your family. So they do a curfew after final whistle, be on coach at 6 o'clock. We're leaving at 6. We left after 6. So he still had from 4:45 when game finished up until 6 o'clock, because that coach was still at Port Vale to come and see me. He never came and seen me. I was in hospital for nearly a week. I had some visits in the hospital, Nick. I had one visitor from Port Vale, and it was, I don't know if you can remember, he used to play for Sheffield United years and years and years ago, a lad called Billy Dearden.
Yeah.
I think he was part of Portville's era, Ian Portville's era, and he was their physio at the time. I think he's based in Sheffield still. He came up and visited me in hospital. Why didn't he come with him? Why didn't Gareth Ainsworth come with Billy Dearden and visit me in hospital? I were on crutches for well over 18 months doing my rehab. In them 18 months, surely he's got spare time to come and visit me, or to ring me, or to speak to me, man to man. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So this is where I get, as a person, I'm not an aggressive type of person. I don't hold grudges, you know what I mean? And I do believe that he didn't physically go out that day and say, right, I'm going to snap him in two. You don't go out, nobody goes out and plays football and say, yeah, do you know what I mean? You might mistime a tackle, or you might do this, or you might do that. But as a man, you go up and you apologise to that person. So if you've kicked somebody on a pitch, you shake his hand and say, oh, you're all right, mate, do you know what I mean, or whatever, and so on and so on. But if you've put somebody on a stretcher, then you know it's something serious. You make sure, as a man or as a person, that you go and see that person, do you know what I mean? And send your condolences or send your apologies, do you know what I mean? And see how you are. And then, if it's a long-term injury, I would have thought, as a person or as a man, you express an interest in how his rehab's going. Do you know what I mean? So you keep in contact over coming months. Maybe one phone call a week, just say, how's your training been this week? Are you all right, or whatever, do you know what I mean? And you tend to make a friendship then, don't you? Do you know what I mean? As someone that you weren't friends before, all because you've been put on a stretcher. I had nothing, absolutely nothing, Nick. And this is what I mean. This is what boils my blood. As a person, I can't stand him. I can't stand him. And
we don't blame you one little bit, do we, Hal?
No. And I know a lot of people have put price on his head. I've had my friends say there's 500 quid on someone to run onto the pitch and smack him. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Dane, I mean, I was you probably remember this. I was at Walsall away. You were there.
Yeah.
I was in front of you, and Gareth was warming up. He was a sub, and he was running to warm up just near all of us away fans. And all of us sort of turned around, saw that you were there with us, and the chant was sort of, Dane's gonna get you, Dane. You know, which of course you weren't going to do. But the fact that you were there with us,
yeah,
that meant so much to all of us, that you were a player, you'd had this awful injury, you could have reacted in a very different way to the club, you know, and the fact that you were still there as a fan, we all loved you for that.
I know. And that's where I've enjoyed my time. You know what I mean? And at Sheffield United as a player, and even as a fan, because I was a fan as well. Do you know what I mean? And to have fans behind me in this situation, knowing full well. I mean, I still speak when I go down at games today. It's 20 odd years ago, Al. You know what I mean? It's 20 odd years ago, and they still will never forget what happened.
No, never.
And there's certain people that I'm on Facebook and what have you, and I'm involved with a few like supporters clubs and like Ainsworth Blades and Lincolnshire Blades and stuff like that. And everybody, when he's on telly, have you seen that, Dane? He's on telly. Look at him. Just look at his attitude. Look at him as if nothing's happened. You know what I mean? And I said, no, I'm not watching it. I don't want to watch it because I can't. I don't want to give him satisfaction. Do you know what I mean? And I did a question and answering session a few months ago now for Pittsmore Blades, and he was at Firth Park Club, and one audience stood up and said, "If he walked into this room now, Dane, what would you do?" And I said to him, I went, "I honestly don't know. I think what I'd do is it'd probably take somebody to hold me back, because I think I'd have a go at him. And I don't know why. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like that, and I don't want to be like that. Do you know what I mean? I said before, I don't hold grudges, and I try and respect people in a way. Do you know what I mean? That if you command respect, they command respect. Do you know what I mean? But he's got no respect from me whatsoever, and he's got no respect from any Sheffield United fan who were there that day whatsoever. And it's all because the way he went about treating me as a player and as a person, mate. You know what I mean?